I am thankful for it all. I release it and I let it go. And so it is. And so it is. I know it is. And I receive. Amen. Amen. Amen.
So now is our time. This isn't even turned on. And there we go. Now is our time for our affirmative prayer. And
It's not on.
the green light is on. I don't.
There it is.
Okay. I'm right here. All right. So if you want to just,
Still. It's not
I can speak louder. Is that better for you?
It's on now. It's on now.
Okay. All right. So please relax. Close your eyes if you would like to. And let's just start with some breathing. Just relaxing, gentle breaths in, gentle breath out. And let us just take this moment, knowing that we have come here to acknowledge and commune with Spirit, our Creator, our Source, the maker of all that is. And at this moment, we know that it is the Creator of us as well. And all that God is, all that Spirit is within us. So we hold deep in our heart, we hold wisdom, we hold love, we hold peace and beauty, compassion, loving kindness. These are the gifts of Spirit, and there is so much more. And as we open our minds, open our hearts, open our spirit, we draw in the goodness that is God. We draw in the success, the prosperity that is ours. We listen for that voice in these moments of quiet stillness and know that we are guided, we are protected, we are inspired by Spirit right here, right now. And we accept these gifts and know that there is more for us. Because as we picture and co-create our life and what we want and what will fulfill us and what will bring us joy, we can acknowledge that that is Spirit talking to us, giving us direction, bringing us to the right choices, and just creating a universe that works for us and that works for everyone as well, for these gifts belong to us all, for we are all expressions of the One. So with very grateful hearts, knowing that Spirit is working in our life all the time and forever, we can release these words into that divine law of creative mind with such gratitude and appreciation. And we can affirm, and so it is. And our Ernest Holmes reading is one of his meditations at the back of the book, and it is called My Atmosphere. My atmosphere is attracting the good. It is constantly on the alert to see and know the good and to bring it into my experience. There is that within me that calls forth abundance and happiness from life. I am surrounded with an atmosphere of peace, poise, and power. All who come in contact with that great calm of my life are made strong and confident, are healed and blessed. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. I am hid with Christ in God. And so it is.
And now our guest artist, Cecilia. Good morning.
Good morning, Cecilia.
I'm going to play for you my favorite composer,
Michel Legrand.
the Great. Michael the Great, Michel Legrand. It's called How Do You Keep the Music Playing?
Okay, good.
Yay, that was beautiful. We are so blessed with Cecilia and her talent. My goodness. Thank you so much. And that was spur of the moment too. It's the fifth Sunday, so she's always like, okay. So Michel Legrand is a famous composer, and you play it so well. Thank you. So today, my talk is on practicing mindfulness. How many know what mindfulness is? Yeah. What do you think it is? Paying attention. How about that? Just paying attention. But before I launch off into that, I want to tell you a little story. I had read this story about a woman, and she was out jogging one morning, and she was in this sleepy little Connecticut town, not big population. It was summertime. She jogged, and she decided after her run, she said, I am going to go and reward myself. I'm going to stop at the donut and ice cream shop, and I'm going to get an ice cream cone. It's early in the morning. No one's going to see me. It's okay. So she walks into the donut shop and she tells the girl, I will have 2 scoops of chocolate fudge ice cream. The girl's getting the ice cream ready, and the woman's looking around, and she notices there's a guy at the counter having coffee and a donut. And then she looks over more intently and realizes it's Paul Newman. She's like, oh, yikes, here I am, no makeup, I'm all sweaty, and I'm ordering double scoop of chocolate ice cream for breakfast. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Isn't that a wonderful impression? So she's like, okay, so she takes the ice cream, and he nods to her, and they nod to each other, and she walks out the door, and she gets to her car. She's got her keys in one hand, and she's got her change in the other hand, but she doesn't have her ice cream cone. And she's like, oh my gosh, I left it on the counter. Now I gotta go back. She's like, all right, I'm gonna go back. I want that ice cream cone. So she goes back and she looks at the girl and she says, did I leave my cone on the counter? And the girl goes, no, I handed it to you. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's standing there like verklempt, like, what the heck? And she looks over and Paul Newman goes, you put it in your purse. It's easy. It's easy to go, oh, you know what? That's something I do, right? We get preoccupied sometimes, and we do silly things. I have put my phone in the refrigerator. I've put the creamer in the cabinet with the dishes. There's a million things that we do, but what happens is we forget that it's easy to get out of our body. It's easy to get out of our mind. It's easy to get out of paying attention when something jars our attention, isn't it? And it pulls us away from being focused and, being present. We get caught up in our thoughts without realizing that those very thoughts are the things that we are feeding the universe and telling it what to bring back to us. Because we forget that our thoughts are things. Our thoughts create our experience. And so if we want to create mindful experiences, we got to be mindful, don't we? And I don't know about you, but have you ever driven down the road and all of a sudden you've gone like 10 blocks? We talked about this in class. You've gone like 10 blocks and you go, I don't know how I got here, but my autopilot knew how I got here because I'm there. Well, you weren't being mindful. You were in some other space, and thank God your body took care of you. But a lot of times we forget to pay attention to what we're paying attention to. And a lot of times we pay attention to things that are going to pull us off our axis without even realizing that it's happening. We give our power away instantaneously to things that you hear something on the news and you're like, why I oughta, or whatever. Something gets you upset and we get go in that direction. Or you just whatever it is. We've got a million examples of things that will pull us off our axis. Neil Donald Walsh says this, every decision we make, every decision is not a decision about what to do. It's a decision about who we are. Does that make sense? Every decision we make is about who we are. And when you see this, when you understand this, everything changes. You begin to see life in a new way, and all the events, the occurrences, and the situations turn into opportunities to do what you came here to do. I don't know about you, but how many times I am the person that goes squirrel every time. I'm the person whose attention goes crazy. I'm the queen of multitasking. I've had many a discussion with my friend that says, multitasking can be really dangerous. I said, heck no. I brush my teeth. I'm putting the coffee in. I'm doing this. I'm getting the cat food out. And I said, wait a second. And all of a sudden, has any of you heard of Thich Nhat Hanh? the famous monk that always talked about just being present, just absolutely being present to everything that you're doing. And what's the advantage of that? You're in the moment. You're in the moment. Mindfulness practice is about being completely present in the current moment and paying attention to what you're paying attention to. But it's so easy not to. It's so easy to get distracted or to be off your game, like you're going to go to the food store and you get sidetracked over here, you get sidetracked over there. But to be present without any judgment, without making any assumptions, without trying to change anything. It's just about being aware, just paying attention to what you're paying attention to. It can be easy to rush through life, can't it? To get everything, I got to get this stuff done. I got to go. I got 50 errands to run today. I've got all these things I've got to do. Yesterday, I was in my garden and I had a fence, but after the windstorms last year, it blew my fence over and I had a new fence put in, but I never got around to kind of finishing up the yard where they put the fence in because my yard has a lot of big rocks. And so there's a little gap at the bottom of where the fence is and where the rocks are. And I thought, well, I want to fill in that gap. Well, I thought, well, I'll just do this little section right here. And then I was going to do this little section right there. And then I was going to do this section and dig this stuff out over here. All of a sudden, it's 6 hours, and I'm like, I should be going and getting a drink of water or something. But you know how it is when you get in the zone? And you're in that zone, and all of a sudden, nothing matters. I mean, the world could have blown up. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I've got 5 more rocks to put against this area here. Don't bother me, right? So it's like where you're completely immersed in the thing. There's a beauty in that because you're just present. You're just present to stuff. And all of a sudden I was, well, let's move this plant over here. And then I decided to divide the fern into 6 pieces. And then I said, one thing led to another. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a bigger project than I thought. But if I went there and said, okay, I got to roll my sleeves up. I got a great big old project. Guess what? It gets overwhelming. And then all of a sudden we start to have judgment about it, etc. And you're just present and just say, I'm going to do what I can do. And I'm going to be present in the moment as who I am right here and now. When we become aware and mindful, we start becoming fully present to our lives. Oh my goodness, what would that mean? What would that mean? A lot of times when I go on my walk, I talk to a friend that is in Oregon, and we sit and we talk the whole walkway. And I thought, some of the times when he's out to dinner or something, I have to walk all on my own without talking to anybody. Oh my gosh, what an experience. You see a little coyote, you go over the wash over here and you see little birdies. There's a little birdie nest over here. You say hi to, all of a sudden, you're just present. You're just present. Try it sometime. They say to just walk mindfully. There's a lot of people that practice walking meditation, and you can do that in like 3 minutes. What's the advantage of that? There are so many physical aspects. I'm going to jump ahead to myself and say, stress and anxiety. Regular practice lowers your cortisol levels and it helps you counteract any anxiety that you're having. So it lowers your cortisol activity right away just by being mindful, just by taking a breath and practicing. It's a depression release. You can be mindful. Therapies are clinically proven to help alleviate depression. Can you imagine that? Just by sitting and being mindful and paying attention. I have a little birdie nest on my arbor, and there's some little stray cat that's been coming around and has discovered that little nest. So now I'm on the lookout, and now my cat's on the lookout as well, looking out the window. And the moment we see the cat, I go out there, and he's like ready to get the cat. Of course, he's an indoor cat, so he can't get him. But at any rate, I go, mister, you are not going to bother that nest. And the nest, I cannot figure out. I didn't know if there were eggs in it, and it's the strangest little nest you've ever seen in your life. It's about that big, because I held my hands up to it. And I thought it was a hummingbird nest, but imagine a teeny tiny nest that's about that big. And I thought, where do the eggs go? Are they all the way in the bottom of the sock? And how are they going to get out? And sure enough, I didn't see a birdie coming around. Oh, they got scared away. Nope, mom and dad are coming there now and nurturing these little eggs, whatever in there. And I thought, oh my gosh, they've got a nest going. But just to be present and watch the nest, just to sit there and zone out And what does it do for it balances out your whole attitude about life. No matter what it is that you're stressful about, the stress can wait. You can put it on the back burner and go, you know what, right now, I'm just going to be present to myself. I'm just going to literally address what's right in front of me. So to be truly empowered and a co-creator and work your magic, we have to remember we're not doing it on our own, are we? There is a higher power that we are initiating every time we think. And those thoughts come into our experience and inspire us to go to a new direction. But we have to pay attention to it, don't we? We have to pay attention to what are we saying? What are the thoughts in our mind all day? Do you look in the mirror and go, oh my God, are you kidding? I got new wrinkles over here. I got a nest of crows over on this side of my face. Are you doing that? Or are you going, I love and approve of myself. Aren't you magnificent? I mean, because what we say to ourselves, we're listening to. We're always listening to ourselves. We're not doing this for anybody else in the outside world except for ourselves. We're talking to ourselves and saying, what are the statements I'm making about myself? What are the statements I'm making about my life? What is the direction that I want to go? And where are my thoughts taking me? Anybody ever go down a rabbit hole following a whole bunch of thoughts and all of a sudden you start awfulizing about something and it becomes your worst case scenario? It could be the monster under the bed or whatever it is, the monster that's out there, or the nervousness about applying for a job, or the stress about a relationship, or you're starting to wonder all this stuff. When we do that, we create that experience in our mind even though it's not happening. So why not create good ones? I mean, because that's the whole point of this teaching, is to take that power that you're gifted with and say, I can create whatever it is I desire, but what does it require? It requires stay in the course. It requires paying attention to what are the thoughts that you're feeding your mind, etc. About mindfulness. First of all, it's being your present moment awareness. Mindfulness emphasizes being here now. Remember the famous book by Ram Dass, Be Here Now. What the heck does that mean? It means be present. Just be present, right? So that's one thing. It also means non-judgmental observation, okay? That's easy to talk about, but when you're watching the news, can you do that? Okay, or when you're listening to a friend talking smack about something, can you be non-judgmental? Can you be the Miss Switzerland in the moment and not be attached to any outcome and say, I'm listening to you? Because sometimes people just need to be listened to. And once they're listened to, you don't have to agree with them. You just listen to what they're saying. And you either take it in or you say, not my story. I'm not going to attach that. It's also, mindfulness helps us with mental training, doesn't it? Every day we get to wake up and give a positive affirmation. We get to speak to ourselves in a kind manner. We get to start our day without any of the phone stuff or calls or listening to the news or anything. I had a friend that every morning she wakes up, she immediately turns the news on the TV. I said, oh my gosh, why would you want to poison yourself with that stuff? I mean, why not begin something with your day with, begin loving yourself. You are a joyful, loving human being. How about this? Say it right now. I am a divine, creative expression of God. Now you have to look at your neighbor. Look at your neighbor and say, you are a divine, creative expression of God. Do you believe it? Right. Well, not all the talking in the world can convince you. But what does happen? The more that we plant the seed of positive affirmations, positive statements about ourselves, positive declarations about where we want to go and where we want to be in our life, what does it do? It sets the road for where we're going. You know, we always have that example of if you've driven down a dirt road before. Anybody? In Idaho, I used to go out and I used to, while I was studying, I would take my car. I lived in a very, up in northern Idaho. And I drove down this road to sit and be with cows, right? I think the cows all thought I was crazy. But eventually they all came up to the fence and I'd just be watching them. But when you drive down that dirt road, you drive down it enough, it creates a rut in the road, right? And then you're stuck in that rut. Right? And so to get out of that rut, you got to really make a concerted effort to drive over those ruts. Well, a lot of times our thinking patterns do that. They create ruts in our experience. And I think it's Buckminster Fuller that always said, we always go out and we look in public for things that are going to justify how we think the way we think and why we do. And the other stuff that doesn't support our thinking, we don't want to have anything to do with it. But that's not a positive way to live, is it? You hear all the options and you say, you know what? Not my deal. Not in my experience. That doesn't support the loving person that I want to be in my experience. But a lot of times we just go out and just see, it's like when you drive a white car. Everywhere you go, you see especially if you have a Buick Encore. Everywhere you go, you see a Buick Encore, right? Or whatever car that you have, because that's what our mind is trained to see. So what we want to do is expand that vision and train ourselves to see the positive things in life, because they're out there. They are definitely out there. And my goodness, how many times have my friend and I went to a lecture, I walked away and I went, what did you think? I thought it was so inspiring. They're like, I thought the guy was full of garbage. He didn't know what he was talking about. He had no examples that were, and I'm like, you're kidding. I thought it was so inspiring. I feel like going out. She's like, you know what? To each his own. But we have a different perspective and we see through that patina of what? Our own thoughts. So what we want to know is that we can change our thought at any moment. At any moment. I don't care how you were raised, what town you were in, what city you grew up in, school you went to, any of that stuff doesn't matter, because you know what? Living starts right now. And we can start from this moment and really shift our thinking. An important part of mindfulness is reconnecting with our bodies and the sensation of the experiences. So one of the simple ways to do it, they always talk about meditating, and everybody goes, oh God, I hate meditating. I fall asleep. I don't like it. I can't keep my thoughts just cloud. Okay, doesn't matter. It can be as simple as breathing. How about if we practice something? We're going to practice a little breathing. We're going to breathe into the count of 4. We're going to hold it for the count of 4. And we're going to exhale for the count of 6. You ready for that? Okay, we're going to breathe in. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try that 3 times a day. Try it 3 times in a row, 3 times a day. All of a sudden, it gets you back into your body. We're not in our body, are we? We're busy. We're thinking about something else. How many times have you been, you're going on a plane ride, all of a sudden you're at the airport figuring out how you're going to get there and the route you're going to take, etc. Or you're going to have a conversation with somebody and you're planning it in your head and all of a sudden you're talking, but right now you're here, right? So it's like paying attention to what you're paying attention to. It lets us stand back from our thoughts and to start to see our patterns. Because the moment you start to realize, you know what, I am kind of self-sabotaging, aren't I? I am kind of talking smack to myself. When you wake up in the morning, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and go, I love you. I love you. You can be the first person that says it to you in the day. And guess what? It sets the tone, because remember, we're all frequency. We're all energy. Everything that we're putting out there always comes back to us on that same level. And if things aren't going so hotsy-totsy, guess what? All you need to do is check in with yourself and say, where are my thoughts right now? Am I thinking positively, or am I thinking against myself? Am I working counterintuitively? Am I working counter to all the things that I profess that I believe in? Am I talking smack about somebody? Am I making myself difficult? We know those difficult people, don't we? Nobody in this room, of course, but we've been around difficult people. Ever be around a difficult person? Oh my goodness, you just sit there and you go, well, bless your heart. Just bless your heart. If you can even say that, we've got a little plaque in the kitchen that says that. Just bless your heart. Why, bless your heart. And the moment you do that, even if you mean it a little snarky, you can say it and go, I'm going to shift out of that consciousness. I'm going to get myself in that can-do attitude. Science of Mind teaches us that our thoughts create our reality. Is that true? Our thoughts create our reality. You may go, oh yeah, easy for you to say, but you don't live in my neighborhood, or you're not listening to the news that I listen to, or whatever. Guess what? Our thoughts create our reality. Our thoughts create our reality. A friend of mine, her boyfriend is into horse racing. And there's a big race coming up next weekend. It's called the Belmont. It's part of a Triple Crown thing. And he is really into horses. And he joined a contest. And the contest was you got a free ticket to go to the race. And he was like, I am going to win that race. And my friend was looking at her boyfriend going, your chances are like 1 in a million. And he's like, that's okay. That's okay. What do you think happened? He won. He literally won. And she's like, oh my gosh. And he's like, he was like, I am absolutely going to win this. When you go in with an attitude that you're going to win, now you may not win the contest, you may not win the $1 million, but guess what? What did it do? It lifted your consciousness. And all of a sudden, everything on your radar becomes about winning, doesn't it? It becomes about success, doesn't it? It doesn't matter if you didn't win that, but all of a sudden you win. I remember I won a turkey. That's about the only thing I've ever really, I won our little 50-50. Thank you, Nora. I won our 50-50 once. I wasn't even thinking about winning. I'm like, I want somebody to win, and we're going to be generous, and it's going to be awesome. I'm like, it was me? I won? You're kidding. I remember being that excited when I won a turkey. I mean, I was like, I never win anything. I won a turkey. I'm like, stop that language. You win all the time. You win all the time. Guess what? When you start affirming things for yourself, what happens? It's like, look out, world, here I come. I'm affirming these good things happening. Mindfulness allows us to become aware of our stream of thoughts and to experience that we're supported by a power of spirit. It's not us doing it by ourselves, right? Remember, we're co-creators with spirit, just like Susan mentioned in her talk. You know, there is an abundance of thought, but there's an abundance of negative thought a lot of the times. They say 65% of our thoughts are negative. Oh my goodness, we better get a wiggle on and shift those, right? And we can shift those just by starting right where we are. You can just say something nice to someone. Hey, love your glasses. Oh, you look adorable today. Whatever it is, guess what? All of a sudden, they're more fluffed up, aren't they? And you're more fluffed up too, just by sharing a positive statement. See the difference that makes? It's not pretend. It's not, oh, the world's going to go to hell in a handbasket. I better tell this gal how nice she looks. No, it's about paying attention and being present, absolutely present to people. I'm going to hear a lot of compliments. I'm going to hear a lot of compliments after this. Ernest Holmes reminds us, we exist with limitless opportunities, which are forever seeking opportunity through expression. Let go of the thought that would place limitation or bondage on any situation or condition. Let go of any thought that creates bondage or limitation. In your thought, you go, yeah, but you don't know what I'm going through. I got a boss that's a pain in the tush, and he is terrible, and I cannot deal with him, and there's no way around it. It's like, okay, and so it is. Every statement that you make, you can say, and so it is right after, and it's going to be true for you. It doesn't mean it has to be true, right? And all it means is you get to reconfigure your thought and shift it. Shift it into something that works for you rather than something that doesn't work. All right, you know what doesn't work? Now create a positive statement. You feel like you're a big tub of lard? Okay, you turn an affirmation into, I am my ideal weight and I feel wonderful, right? Whatever it is, whatever your negative thought is, just shift it into an affirmation. And what happens? That energy shifts, that frequency shifts. And again, you're listening to you. You're listening to yourself. He goes on and says, talk to yourself, not the world, right? Because you don't need to convince the world. We need to convince ourselves. And the moment we are convinced, guess what? There's no stopping us. There is no one to talk to but yourself, for all the experience takes place within your own mind. Doesn't it? How many times have you played out a scenario in your mind and it never happened? It never happened because you imagined all this stuff. Neville Goddard always says our number one talent is imagination. Whatever you can imagine, you can create. So how much are you engaging your imagination? And first happens is you got to pay attention to what you're paying attention to. Listen to the birdies. I mean, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I was out in the yard yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, there are so many birds. There is a symphony going on out here. And I never paid, there was a crow, oh my God, he was giving me what for. I don't know what was going on. I'm like, dude, I'm just moving rocks. I'm not going to throw them at you. And he was like squawking, squawking, squawking away. And I thought, oh my gosh, isn't this interesting? He's trying to talk to me. So when I looked at it like that, I'm like, don't worry, bud, we're making our garden beautiful. But pay attention to what you hear, what you see, what you feel. A lot of times we're so disconnected. They say the biggest distance is between the mind and the body. And as a reminder, remember, we're not a body with a mind. We're a mind with a body, right? We're a mind with the body. What does that mean? Everything that we think is creating an experience in our life, whether we like it or not. So all we need to do is look at what's happening in our life and let it reflect back to us. And you don't like it? You just do some fine tuning and change it. Don't make yourself bad dog. Just change the thinking. He goes on, conditions are reflections of our meditations and nothing else. There is only one mind, and that mind is ours right now. It's our mind right now in cooperation with God. It never thinks from confusion. It knows what it wishes and how to accomplish it. It is what we desire. It desires what we desire. It's about being fully present. So what does that mean? It reduces stress. Remember, it reduces depression. It creates new cortisol levels. It creates new experiences. We can talk ourselves out of things, or we can talk ourselves into things, can't we? Did you ever feel sick and you're like, oh boy, I feel a cold coming on? And then you start talking yourself into a cold, don't you? You start talking yourself into a cold. And you can talk yourself right out of it as well. You can talk yourself right out of whatever it is. You feel negative about something, you feel unhappy about something, you can talk yourself right out of it because it's just a matter of what we're feeding our experience. Ram Dass in his Be Here Now said, everything that we experience in the present moment. We don't realize it, do we? How many of you are thinking about lunch, thinking about what you're going to do this afternoon? You're wondering, okay, the ball game's on at 1 o'clock, who's coming over to my house and what are we going to eat? Okay, how many are doing that? We're always like one step ahead rather than being here. So let's see here. In the closing, mindfulness is a valuable tool in helping us what? Create a new experience, create a more delicious life, create something that we really feel positive about. It's about looking at life in a different way because we're looking at it through the eyes of, how can I be present? And what does being present do? It keeps you in the moment. It keeps you knowing how to create what you want to create. So say with me right now, there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life right now. I'm a co-creator with Spirit. I create delicious, wonderful, exuberant, filled with vitality, life experiences. So look out, world. Here I come. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And now we have our guest artist, Cecilia, again.
So continue on.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a beautiful song. Okay, this is the time of our sharing of our treasure. I'm gonna get our offertory. And I invite you to share with me the offertory affirmation on the left-hand side of your page. And it says, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of this spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And now we're going to have our song, I Am So Blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so thankful. I am so blessed. And so we are so blessed in the many ways that you give your talent and your treasures. And we thank you for your financial support. It's building and growing this center every moment, every day, and knowing that we're reaching out to this community, creating this awareness that thoughts are things. And so we let it be so, and we say thank you. And so this is the time of our benediction. So I invite you to just get comfortable in your chairs and let's know this prayer treatment, that the words of my lips are absolutely heard by this divine creative spirit I call God, vibration. And so I know right here and now that there is only one power, and that power is spirit. That power I call God, that divine creative intelligence that lives, moves, and has its being as me and as each and every one of us. And through this knowing, through my oneness, I know as a co-creator with spirit, all that I declare comes to me by means of my intention, my imagination, and my knowing. I release anything right now that would stop or block my joyous expression of creativity, perfect relationships, abundance, ideal health, vitality. All good in the world comes to me right now through my openness of my consciousness, through my direction of my thoughts, and through my knowing that with God all things are possible. I believe this, I trust this, and I know this to be true, and I am so grateful. I'm grateful for this spiritual center. I'm grateful for all of the practitioners. I'm grateful for prayer. I'm grateful for the knowing and for the awareness that I am one with God. And what I say after I am is the truth of my being. And so I know this truth. And I release this prayer into the law of mind, which is God in action, bringing about every good thing that I desire. This is my truth. I accept it. I know it to be so. And together we say, and so it is. And now we are going to have our peace song. Let there be peace on earth now has begun with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. with God as our power. United all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, so this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, now it has begun with me. Yay! Remember, prayer circle at the front.